This is my bowl, and you can see it's kind of overflowing. I had to push everything down in it. Good morning. I'm out in the garden this morning, and I am picking the kale and the spinach and the lettuce, and I'm going to give you a garden tour. So this is my bowl, and you can see it's kind of overflowing. I had to push everything down in it to get everything to fit, and it's got there's red leaf lettuce, there's 3 different kinds of kale, and at the bottom there's a huge amount of spinach because my spinach is really produced very well. So you can see the plants are still there. About once a week I'll try to come out and clip all the greens down, but it's starting to get warm and they're really starting to bolt. So I don't think I'm gonna get fresh greens for very much longer, but it's been really nice while it lasted because you guys know how I love greens. So this has been really good. And Kai is at my feet. There he is over by the compost pile. So anyway, we had a few weeks ago, well, if you go back to my old videos, I'll link at the top, I had shown you my little tomato starts and my pepper starts, and they were struggling a little bit. So we had a lot of trouble with them, and then we had a lot of rain, and essentially everything that we had died. And so we probably have enough time, you know, it's just the beginning of June now, and we probably could just plant it from seed straight in the garden. It'd probably be just fine. But I gotta be honest with you and say, as you all know, things are crazy. And so I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna go buy some plants. So I went and bought some tomato plants and some pepper plants, and I just put them in the garden, and a couple other things too. I got like cantaloupe and zucchini and some celery and things. So at least we will still have a full garden. Cats are all playing in the background. I'm sure you'll see them. So yesterday I spent like the whole day out here just completely weeding everything, which I still didn't even get it done, because that's one thing I did not realize how much time I would spend in all of these beds trying to get them completely weed free. And they're still not, like I said, not completely done, but they don't look too bad. I think the garden still looks pretty good. So I'm going to show you what all we have and give you the update. I'm going to go in here and wash all these greens and enjoy them. So I'm going to show you all the beds and talk to you about what's in them. So this is my first bed, and I only had 1 pea plant come up, and I really need to get something to put it on, but look at the pea pods. They're coming off of it already. These are 2 peppers that I bought. They're giant Marconi. This is the red leaf lettuce that's left, and it's actually, like you saw in the bowl, producing really well. I'm just taking the outer leaves off. I'm trying to leave at least 2 leaves on all of them and letting them grow. This is some of the kale. This is red Russian kale. This, I forget the name of these kales. This one's a curly kale over here. And then of course I have the garlic, and then Tuna is coming to visit. Tuna just had kittens. So we have this beautiful bed that's really producing well. And then over here we have this bed. And it's also got 2 pea plants, and they're producing pretty well. This is the one I really didn't weed well, so ignore that. But there's a lot of spinach in here. I've actually pulled out a lot of the spinach because you can see some of it's really starting to bolt. And so if it's starting to do it pretty bad, I'll just pull it out. And I have just like these 2 little radishes left. I've already pulled all those, and then a few carrots that are still working. So that's the second bed. Hi, Toonie. She's so sweet. So these next two beds I dedicated to tomatoes. They're kind of close. You don't need to tell me they're close, I know. But that's the room I had. I bought so many and then I was like, oh, I have no place to put them. So, so these are tomatoes. And there are a bunch of different kinds. I try to get heirloom whenever possible. So I have Mr. Stripey right in here. And I have, oh, I don't even remember what all I have. I have some yellow cherry tomatoes at the far end. And here I have some Roma, some German Johnson. I think I have Rutgers. So I just have a good variety, but there's 20 different tomato plants. And they look like they're happy in their little home, so that's good. And then in these last two beds, I have one cantaloupe on each end. And then each one has 6 celery. And then on the far end, I have a zucchini. So that's all that we have. And I'm happy to have the beds full, and we'll be using all of this. It's all stuff that we'll actually use. And if you didn't know, I also planted a little blueberry bush. And look, it's got little blueberries on it. I don't know if you can see that right there. There's some there. Look at those. Looking very, very good. Little blueberries. So, we have a garden. And we've been harvesting food. And it's been really good. I've enjoyed it. Learned a lot actually having full garden beds and growing certain things from seed. The first few beds I had everything grown from seed. And then these last, well, except for the peppers that I put in. And then these last few beds having the things that were purchased. Just like I said, the amount of weeding. And one of the other things I learned about was garden space. Like, I felt like when I had all of these garden beds that I was going to have so much food. And I'm sure you could cram them in if you were more knowledgeable. I'm absolutely sure about that. I'm not. So it just hasn't felt like I wish I had so much more space to be able to grow so many more things. Because like I would have loved to have done it. But, you know, this is what we got. But I'm still really excited. The things that I plan to do here in the next few weeks, I'm definitely going to be getting some bamboo rods to put up these pea plants. Like I want something to raise them up off the ground. And I'm probably going to try to get a cattle panel to put in between the tomatoes so that they can climb up on the cattle panel. But I don't quite know how I'm going to do that. I'm going to wing it. But that's what we're doing with that in terms of the garden. My compost pile is breaking down. It's looking really, really small now, and it was huge. So we're making progress with that. And then we're also making some plans to do some plantings around the house. I don't know if you can see on my porch right there, there's a bunch of pine bark mulch, and over where it's really bright, so you're not gonna be able to see it. My heating and air conditioning unit is like right over here. And I'm gonna take out all the grass and everything that's around it and do some plantings there, and there's a lot of things I want to do around the house. So it's all a little outdoor work, and I think I mentioned in another video, we have an above ground pool that we're going to put over in this area, and we just haven't had time to dig it out yet. Which of course, I don't know if you can tell, you probably can't tell, it's very sloped. I mean very sloped. It drops several feet very quickly. So we've got a lot of digging to do if we're going to get that done. And the hotter it gets, the more I am wishing we had the pool actually put in and done. But at the same time, the idea of digging it out and leveling it is so intimidating that all of us keep putting it off. But it's just going to get hotter, so we really have to get going with that. But we really wanted to put it underneath our mimosa tree. You can see that hanging down. But it hangs almost to the ground, so we're probably not going to put it in there. It's going to have to come a little bit closer to the house. As I've been outside, I've been looking at some other chores that need to get done. I was actually thinking about buying some exterior paint today because I have this little well house. The well, we don't actually use the well, we're on city water, but this is the well that the house did have at one point. And we're not going to tear it out because that would be far too expensive. It's much cheaper just to semi-maintain it, and then if somebody ever wants to have the well, they have it here. but we've got to take this thing down. And I don't even know what to say about the wires. I'm not going to mess with those, but what I do want to do is paint. See where it's all peeling? That needs to be painted. And then also, I'll shut that door. The door needs some attention. And then as you go around the other side, this is rotted. So we've got to replace that board and paint it, and I want to just get it looking nice and crisp. And then over here, there's the well. It's actually the well to our neighbor's property, but it's on our side of the road. It's not on our property. Technically, it's their property, but it's their well. But what I would like to get is some kind of well cover for it at my expense, just so we can have it covered, because it is on our side, and I want to make sure that, you know, it looks pretty. I want it to look pretty. But anyway, let me show you around the front and show you the things I want to do around front. It's much brighter over here, so it's hard to see, but I cut Brian's hair today. He's so handsome going to work. So right behind me is like a little front area in front of our house, and we want to put some landscaping in there too. Not just that side, but also this side of the porch. And the grass has actually grown over already where we dug up for the well and everything, but I still think we're going to need to do more grading. And so we're going to grade it and try to put plantings in also at the same time. But there's so much stuff. I want to power wash everything on this porch, and there's just a lot of stuff that needs to get done. It's never ending, this whole home ownership thing. But since we're up here, I'll see if I can't show you the kittens. Look at them, aren't they sweet? And when I say they're new baby kittens, they are new baby kittens. You a good mommy? Yeah, she is. We do try to get the feral cats fixed, but there's always one. Every year there's one that ends up ready for kittens before we can get them fixed. So that's just the reality when you have so many. But they will all find good homes. I have people all the time asking us for barn cats, so we're good. So that is our update on the garden, update on the outside of the house. Kind of. There's so much. As I'm looking around, I'm like, I want to paint the shutters. I want to do so much. It never ends. It never ends. But I'm not complaining. I love having a house, and I love, you know, getting to live my little HGTV dreams. So anyway, I'll keep you posted as to how things are going. But for right now, I have some greens that I need to wash. Look at those. Doesn't that look so good? There's a day when I was dreaming of a garden. Many years when I failed. And it took a little while, but now look. I grew that from seed, you guys. From seed. Thrills my soul. So this will keep us in salads for a few days. And I'm very happy. So, all right, you guys have a great day. Thank you for coming and hanging out with us on our update. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.